Franny K. Stein, Mad Scientist, Book 10, Mood Science, Chapter 11. Just pull yourself together. Back in Franny's lab, Duty Fran was taking charge. Okay, Angry Fran, get in the machine. I thought you said you were going to show me something to make me mad. Angry Fran growled. You're right, I did, but I was lying to you. I'll bet that makes you mad. So mad! Angry Fran shouted, and I really appreciate that. And with a sneer, she walked into the mixer-upper. You're next, she said to Silly Fran. But you don't need to go in there. Why not? Silly Fran giggled. Because you're already in there. Duty Fran said. No, I'm not. Check it out if you don't believe me. Duty Fran said, and Silly Fran walked in to take a look. Well, are you in there? Duty Fran yelled into the machine. I sure am, Silly Fran said. I guess you were right. Hey, Franny said. You sure picked up that silly stuff quickly. Duty makes you rise to the occasion, Franny. It makes you do things you didn't know you could. Franny coughed. Oh no, Duty Fran said. Are you feeling okay? A slight cough, nothing to worry about. Franny said. Just a little frog in my throat. A little more than just your throat, Duty Fran said, and look at your dog. Franny was transforming quickly, and Igor was almost all toad. Not much time left, Duty Fran said. She grabbed Sad Fran by the hand and led her to the machine. I know I told you there would be puppies, but there aren't. A tear rolled down Sad Fran's face. Are you disappointed? Very, Sad Fran sobbed. Disappointment is a lot like sadness, right? It's close enough. Sad Fran sighed. Thank you. And she walked in. You might not want to watch this, Duty Fran said to Franny. It's not going to be very nice. What are you going to do? Duty Fran walked right up to Scaredy Fran and pushed in close to her. I have something to show you, Scaredy Fran. Is it a spider or something like that? I'm not afraid of those. Oh, it's much scarier than that. Like a monster? Scaredy Fran said. I like monsters. We grew up together. I know exactly what you like. Duty Fran said, her voice falling to a low, threatening growl. And I know what scares you too. You do? Okay, let's see what you have. I'm going to show you. But first take this. She handed Scaredy Fran a broom. A broom? Why would I be scared of a broom? Because we told Mom that you'd clean your room, and she's on her way up the stairs now. There's not enough time. Why would you tell her that? She's going to be so mad. Scaredy Fran jumped into the mixer-upper and trembled in the dark. Mom was pretty scary when you lied to her. You know who's next, right? Duty Fran asked. You mean us? Franny asked, her voice a little toadier than before. I was thinking about that. Duty Fran crossed her arms. What were you thinking? I'm still not convinced I need those other feelings, Franny said. You and I can do everything by ourselves. Just brains and duty. Let's ditch the other feelings. An old lady's voice spoke from the corner. That's not going to work. It was Franny's grandma. Granny Fran, how long have you been here? Long enough to hear all I needed to, she said. It sounds like I didn't do a very good job teaching you about soup. What does this have to do with soup? Franny asked. Each ingredient makes it better. You're like a pot of soup. You need all of your ingredients. But isn't the soup good even if it's missing one or two ingredients? Franny asked. It doesn't need every single little thing, does it? Maybe not, Granny Fran said. But why wouldn't you want to make the best soup you could? Let's look at it another way, Duty Franz said. Think about puzzles like the ones Igor does. They're a waste of time, Franny scoffed. Puzzles are complicated, and so are people. Both are made up of lots of little parts. What's your point? My point is that if you want to see the whole picture, you need to put all those little parts together, Duty Franz said. Franny thought about it. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. So just hurry up and hop into the gizmo, Toad Girl, before it's too late, Granny Franz shouted. Franny smiled. I never knew my granny and my sense of duty were so much alike, she said. Okay, I'll do it. Franny tapped a few buttons, and she and Duty Fran walked into the machine and shut the door. It's too dark in here, Scaredy Fran whimpered. Not for long, Franny said. The machine started up and whirred. It dinged like a microwave. And out stepped Franny, all in one piece, but still looking pretty toady. She hopped to her lab table. She was afraid that maybe she was too late to stop the toad virus, and she felt pretty silly for how she had acted. She felt sad that so many people had suffered, and angry with herself for letting it all happen. Hey, she said, I think I have all my feelings back. And it's up to me to fix this, she added, smiling when she recognized her sense of duty shining through her other feelings. You know, I think my sense of duty might be my favorite one of all. Chapter 12, Putting Bugs into the System. Franny's fingers became so stubby and toady that it was hard for her to finish her work on the vaccine. But she didn't give up, and she finally completed it just before she totally transformed. Totally. She chuckled to herself. Her silliness was definitely back. She used it on herself first, and it worked perfectly. She cured Igor next. Granny Fran, I'd give you a dose of medicine, but you look fine to me. It's probably because all that homemade soup I eat, Granny Fran said with a grin. How will I ever give this medicine to everybody? That's like 8 billion shots. The number was terrifying. She felt overwhelmed. I hate this, she shouted. I hate these feelings. Granny Fran patted her gently on the back. Our feelings are what make us move forward. They inspire us. But this is a huge problem, Granny Fran. I'm not big enough to handle this. You remember what we talked about at my house the other day? I sure do. It was something soup, I think. That's right. But we also talked about how small things can have a big effect. Just because you're small doesn't mean you can't solve this. You've just given me an idea, Franny said. It's a little silly, but it might work. Franny opened a window. Bugs are attracted to you, Igor. Just sit here by the window for a minute. It wasn't long before a mosquito flew in, and Franny captured it in a jar. Then she took it and a needle full of the medicine and put them together in the mixer-upper. After the machine had done its blending, Franny proudly showed Granny Fran and Igor the results. It's a mosquito, but when it bites you, it injects you with a cure. I'll make a whole bunch of these and then just turn them loose. Won't the toad people just eat the mosquitoes? Granny Fran asked. Even if they do, they'll still get the medicine. I developed it so that it would work either way. And mosquitoes have a way of getting into everywhere. Before you know it, everybody will be cured. But how will you make enough of them? Granny Fran asked. Just stick it in the copier and turn the dial to 8 billion. My gosh, Granny, haven't you ever seen a copier before? Chapter 13. A mile in your shoes. In a matter of weeks, the medicated mosquitoes managed to get everywhere, and pretty soon everybody had recovered, and things went back to normal. I don't think I want to do any more mixing for a while, Franny said, but before I take this thing apart, I'd like to try one last mix. The mixer-upper whirred for a moment, and then made the ding sound like a microwave oven. There was a hiss and the door opened, and a very strange figure stepped out. It was Franny and Igor, mixed together. Their two bodies were mixed together, but so were their two minds. They could hear through each other's ears, see through each other's eyes. Wow, this fur is really itchy. I can't believe that you ever stopped scratching yourself.
And I can't believe how much you can stand sweating.
After walking around for only a few minutes, they were ready to be unmixed. They hit a few buttons and stepped back into the machine. There was a whir and a ding, and the door creaked open again. Franny gave Igor a big hug and said, "Why don't you go play or something while I take this thing apart?" Franny watched as he got out one of his puzzles and made space on the table to put it together. She felt like she understood him better after being all mixed up with him for a minute. She set down her wrench and joined him. "I'll bust that thing up later," she said. "I get why you like puzzles now. It feels good to work on a problem that you know can be solved. Can I do one with you?" Igor smiled and made room for her at the table. "I wanted to apologize, so I made you a special puzzle," Franny said. "I used a painting you made of us together. It's pretty much my favorite painting in the whole world." The two worked on the new puzzle for hours and hours. Even Franny's mom, her dad, and her brother Freddie, who were no longer toads, sat down and helped. After that, Franny always tried to appreciate and respect Igor's interests. Having your molecules chopped into chunks with somebody will do that, although she never really got why he liked eating socks. The end.